Hi everyone, I'm Gabriel Zamora and thank you so much for watching. For today's video, as you can tell by the title, it is a highly requested video by y'all. In my What Happened to Morphe video, I briefly mentioned that I was watching The Hills and I asked if you guys wanted to see a basically breakdown of like what happened on the show, like what happened on The Hills, like what are my thoughts, what are my takes on certain scenarios and situations. So today's video is basically just that. I started watching the first 2 seasons on Netflix, but then I found out that there's 4 more seasons on Hulu. That's why this video has taken quite some time since I mentioned it, because I had to watch the rest of the series. I couldn't just give you the first 2 seasons. Babes, I had to give you the whole breakdown of the entire series of The Hills and my take on every character, on every scenario, and basically what happened as I got ready. Today's makeup look was very inspired by how they did their makeup, which you're probably thinking, are you even wearing makeup? Yes, I am. Dude, they barely wore makeup. What am I supposed to do? Fake it? So if you love makeup and you love opinions and you want to hear my opinions on The Hills, then keep on watching. Dude, I've had this Abercrombie & Fitch hoodie. I think this was from high school. I kept it because I remember it was so expensive. Do y'all keep certain things as mementos, as placeholders of time? I was like, yo, I still have this from the time that I was watching The Hills. Let's begin. For the makeup look, I'm gonna be doing a very natural look. So yeah. I wanted to create a makeup look that was iconic from it, but I feel the only iconic makeup moment from The Hills was when Lauren Conrad cries that black tear. I think that further emphasizes the fact that they didn't even wear lashes. It was just mascara, and mascara gate is currently happening. So I feel like I should do a just mascara type of look. I want it to be very skin-like, probably no foundation, just spot treating certain areas with concealer, whatever. I'm just gonna do it. You don't care about the makeup. You're here for the opinions, babe. You're here for the opinions on The Hills, and let's get into it. I have been delaying making this video because I hate them. I hate them now. I hate everybody on that show now. Even Lauren, a little bit, because I'm Lauren, what the fuck was season 3? Okay, we're gonna get right into everything. I wanna vent about it all, but I'm gonna vent to you kind of if we're friends, and we're on FaceTime, babes. And I'm just going to tell you about The Hills. I'm using Red Beauty Concealer just to kind of start off. So first we start off with Lauren Conrad. Lauren Conrad is an Aquarius from a hit reality TV show, Laguna Beach. I tried watching Laguna. This is how it all started. Netflix got, which I actually just canceled. I canceled it because I literally am only watching it for Seinfeld at night. Dude, they're trying to do that whole password thing, and people were talking about it, and they're cancel your subscription. So I was okay. You guys, if you like this video at any point, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Okay, Lauren Conrad. Okay, what was I saying? They put Laguna Beach on Netflix, and I was damn, I haven't watched this in a minute. Oh my God, I remember being so obsessed with it. Let me just watch it. I think it'll be good. Hated it. Hated it. I was everyone's in high school. I'm too grown for this. I'm too grown for this. I'm too grown for this. And they're oh, we have The Hills. So I was and they only have the first 2 seasons on there. And I think that's the part that kind of delayed this video, where I was oh, I can talk about it. I only watched the first 2 seasons, but what do the rest have? There's a lot. So this video includes the entire breakdown of the entire series. So Lauren Conrad is an Aquarius from Laguna Beach, and now she is moving to Los Angeles, Hollywood, and she's starting her life there. Laguna Beach from Hollywood, I've never been there, but what it seems like on the map seems to be it's maybe an hour. So she's moving to the city, and she's okay, I'm gonna start a new life there. I'm gonna go to school. And the creators of Laguna Beach are probably girl, this is great. They're obsessed with you. We're gonna continue to follow you. She's very girl next door. She's very attractive, but not too intimidatingly attractive, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? There's some pretty people that you're oh, you're very pretty, but you're not intimidatingly pretty. So I like you. Is that toxic? We're introduced to her roommate because she lives with a roommate. Okay, based on the apartments that they show, I think they live at the apartments right next to the Grove. That's where I think she lives, right? But we're introduced to her roommate, who is Heidi Montag. We don't know her. This is the first time we're meeting her, right? Heidi Montag is a Virgo. Interesting. I'm obsessed with Virgos. I live for a Virgo. I don't know why. I just live for a Virgo. Some of my favorite people and some of my closest friends are Virgos. So Heidi, from the very beginning, beginning, we are very much establishing that she is kind of ditzy, kind of bubbly, and like kind of dumb. Lauren's like doing like interning at Teen Vogue. Like she has like an interview. That's literally episode 1. She arrives at the new apartment and she's like, oh, I have an interview at Teen Vogue to be an intern. And they're like, oh my God, you have to come now. And she's like, oh my God. Spoiler, she gets the job at Teen Vogue, which she works with Whitney. I don't know her last name. That's when we meet Whitney, and she's a Pisces, so I live for her. We're also introduced to Audrina, but she's kind of like not the most interesting person in the entire world, not gonna lie. Foreshadowing, I'm just letting you know of how I feel about her. She gets the job. So she works at Teen Vogue, works for the Young Hollywood Party, and that's where we really start to see Heidi and Lauren's friendship start to like, it starts to rumble. Just like a little bit. It starts to shake a little. Lauren gets her into the party. And I don't know how much of this is scripted or how much of it is reality. But when watching the entire series, season 1 and season 2 gave me more like a guided reality. She gets Heidi into the party and she tells them not to sit in a certain section. And that's the part where I'm like, I wonder how much of this is true and how much of it is not. Because it's like, oh, nobody can sit in this section. And this is for a certain celebrity. And then her friends end up sitting there. Heidi's fighting with this guy. Like that's her first boyfriend. And she's like fighting with him. And it's just like a mess. She gets in trouble. And Lauren starts to like establish boundaries that like, girl, you can't be doing that. Like not on my watch and not on my name, right? And Heidi's like, ha ha ha, okay, like whatever. And that's like the first like very much like rumbling, right? But I feel like when their friendship also starts to take like a bit of a turn is when they go to the interview. Lauren, for the interview at FITM, the fashion school, they tell her they're proud of her, good grades, great transcript, like blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I have a goal, I have a mission, I have a plan. She doesn't say that, but she basically, the way she explains it, I'm like, damn, bitch, you know what you want to do. Like, I didn't know that at 18 years old. Heidi, she's already establishing like, no, I just want to like party and have fun and do PR. And like, that's why I moved to the city. And like, I get it. Like, that's what she wants to do. And like, once she gets a job in that field, she's like, dude, like, I'm gonna like drop out of school. And Lauren's like, very like, I get it. At that age, like you're told that you have to get an education and you have to go to school and like you have to. So Lauren is very much like, why are you quitting school? Like this is why we moved here. Like this is why we became roommates because we're also classmates. And like Heidi's been skipping class. She's not taking it seriously. So as they're continuing to like live there and live their lives, Lauren is going to school. Heidi has now dropped out of FITM and she's working at this like PR company, and even then she's not really like doing that kind of a job, and she's working full-time and she hates it. She's like, what the fuck is a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday? At the same time, they're dating, right? So from the beginning we see that Heidi has a boyfriend, and he was very like, I get why she left him, but in the beginning that's her boyfriend, that's her man. Like he's trash, but that's her man. At the same time, Lauren is talking to this guy named Jason, and that's when we start to meet Jason. That becomes Lauren's entire love interest for the entirety of season 1, right? Jason's character on the show is very much like bad boy X. Very much like, oof. Like in my life, I know who that person would be for me. Like I know who my Jason is. And I think that's what I liked about the show is that like you could see what kind of character each person was, and you can kind of like associate them in different aspects of your life. Maybe you didn't have all of them, but like a lot of them you're like, oh, this reminds you of this person, or like this reminds you of this person. But that's what Jason is. He's kind of like the bad boy X. But in the beginning, Heidi warns Lauren about Jason. Like, are you sure this is what you want to pursue? Like, he really hurt you, girl. Like, and he's trash. Like, is this really what you want to pursue? And Lauren's like, yeah, like I feel like change, and like, you know, like I'm just gonna like figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? But Heidi warns her. She's like, okay, I'm just warning you. Like, just let's let it be known. I warned you. The first instance and like issue that they show is Jason's birthday. So for Jason's birthday, and I want to get your I want to get your thoughts on this, because that's what this real breakdown is all about. Like, there's certain instances within the show that I'm like, that's interesting. Like, how would I have reacted? What are my thoughts on it? This one was very interesting. So for Jason's birthday, that's Lauren's boyfriend, right? Lauren's gonna hang out with him the whole day, and then they tell her at Teen Vogue, okay, girl, we're gonna need you to work that whole day. You're gonna be like busy all day. You're gonna work this super like cunty shoe, and you're gonna have to work it. And she tells him, and he's kind of sad and bummed, and she's like, fuck, like I feel bad. Like, she ends up getting him like golf club because he loves golfing, which, by the way, like, should I take up golfing? Like, that just made me realize that like white men love golfing, and if I can't end up with a man of color for love, then I'm gonna end up with a white man for money, and I should golf with my man. right? So I should learn how to golf, just in case, like just in case. So she gets some golf clubs because he's gonna go golfing with his friends that day. She works, and then later that night they go to this dinner, and she's like so excited because she's like, oh my god, I haven't seen you all day. I'm gonna see my baby. It's your birthday, baby, and we're gonna celebrate you, right? So they go to the dinner. It's a really big dinner. It's a really long table. There's a lot of people there. I want to say at least like 20. Honestly, like maybe like 15 to 20 people. 20 people probably. So a lot of people are there. And for some reason, Lauren gets mad because he's not sitting with her the entire time. Like he's going around, like he's making the rounds and he's talking to people. I don't know how long he's gone, you know what I mean? But she kind of gets upset that he's not there the whole time. It ends up like them going to valet, like they're gonna go to a club after. And she's like, I'm gonna go home. Like, I'm gonna go home. And he's like, why are you mad at me? Like, and she's like, no, I'm not trying to argue with you. It's your birthday. Like, I'm not angry with you. Just like, go have fun. He's like, why are you mad? Why are you mad? And she's like, I just thought you would want to spend your like evening with me because you got to spend it all day with your friends. So I thought you would want to spend it with me. I don't know. Like, I felt some type of way, Lauren. Like, I felt some type of way. I was like, why do you, like, no, like, it's your man's birthday. Like, let him, like, enjoy the little event. I don't know. That part, to me, I want to hear your commentary down in the comment section down below. What would you do? Are you the same way? Like, what if, like, I don't know. I was not on Lauren's side. I was like, if it's a dinner for me, like, I get it. You're my baby, but like, bitch, these people are here for me too. He's like, dude, like, these people came here for me. Like, I want to make sure that, like, you know, I am paying attention to them. And I totally, like, agreed with him. So that's one of their fights, right? And then they have another fight that was just really interesting that I want to get your take on. This was their like New Year's Eve fight. So on New Year's Eve, they're like supposed to hang out and they're going to this event. They get into an argument. To me, if you remember the show, they're having a great time. He's clearly like annoyed with her because she had answered a phone call from an ex in front of him and he got mad. He's like, oh, maybe we should just be friends since you're so friendly. And like, well, I said like, you know, we're going to have a great night on New Year's Eve. I didn't say anything about what happens the rest of the year. She's like, excuse me, what is that supposed to mean? And what, okay, to me, I don't play lightly with like breaking up. If you threaten that shit, we're done. Like, don't threaten that shit. I don't know. On that one, I was on her side. I was like, don't ever threaten me for breaking up with me. Like, I didn't say that. And she's like, you just said that. Oh, she leaves. Heidi ends up leaving with her. Heidi was a really good friend to her. Season 1. Heidi was a really good friend to her. Like, because Lauren is very needy. Lauren is a very needy friend. And maybe that's the thing about Aquariuses, but they're very needy. And basically by the end of season 1, and you're like, what? That was the end of season 1? Yeah, bitch. Like, nothing happened. Like, nothing happened. You think it's going to be some crazy show? No, nothing happened. By the end of season 1, they're left with the decision of, Heidi, do you want to stay with your man? Basically, like, she's having issues with him. He treats her like shit. He talks to her recklessly. And I think Heidi's very much like, is this what I deserve? I always have to ask myself that in certain scenarios. I'm like, is this what I deserve? She knew that's not what she deserved, so she ends up breaking with her man, right? And then by the end of it, apparently like Jason and Lauren have been having such issues, and at work they offer her the position to go to Paris, right? And like they barely offered it to any interns, and they're like, Lauren, like we want you to go to Paris, like the birthday situation all over again. Like, do you want to pick your man over your job? Like, you should pick your job, right? So this time she's like, I'm not gonna pick my job over my man. I did that last time. I'm gonna pick my man. I'm not gonna go to Paris, and I'm gonna stay here and be in Malibu with my baby. Right? So season 2 starts off with Lauren broke up with Jason because he's trash, and she's like crying, and she's like, here's your stuff. She got a new car, by the way. She went from like a BMW to a Mercedes. I was like, okay, I see the little upgrade, girl. They were getting money for that show, dude. So they end up breaking up. Clearly that was the wrong decision to not go to Paris. Always pick your job over your man. No, I'm just kidding. It just depends. You know what I mean? Okay, I want to hear in your in the comment section down below. Is it definitive? Is it very circumstantial? Like, you know, I'm always gonna pick my man, but depends on the opportunity at work. If you planned a vacation with you and your man 3 to 6 months in advance, and then all of a sudden from work you hear you got this really great opportunity that will, like, you know, help advance your job presented to you, would you cancel the trip? And if you did, what kind of opportunity would it take for you to cancel the trip? From the very beginning, the fucking Lisa Love, I love that name. That's the lady that works at Team Vogue. That's like her boss. She basically tells her, you're going to be known as the girl who didn't go to Paris. And, you know, it's like, it seems like you don't want these opportunities, babe. So you're going to have to reprove yourself. And like, that would suck. Like, damn, I broke up with my man that I took like an opportunity on. Now at work, they're side-eyeing me like, do you really take this job seriously? And now I'm like, fuck, dude. double homicide. For eyeshadow, I'm gonna do such a basic ass look, but do you guys remember this? What? What? This came out so long ago. This one is not that old. I got this a year or two ago from Urban Decay because they were like doing something where they sent all the naked palettes and they sent this one and I was like, oh, I have to keep this, and I've kept it. And I remember this palette kind of came out around the same time, so I'm gonna be doing an eye look from this palette. Super basic, super simple. Like, honestly, like, don't expect anything crazy. So as Lauren's, like, you know, life is going that way, we're back with Heidi Montag. She's more blonde and she's dating Spencer Pratt, which, spoiler, she is with to this day. Happy family. They have children. They recently had another kid and they're still together. And as much as like the show is scripted and as much as we don't like him and them together, we have to remember and be respectful that they are together. Even though he was like the worst person for her, but like whatever, right? Lauren going into season 2, she's single and she's working on herself. Heidi has a new boyfriend and she's still ditzy, but now she's like working in PR, and that's when the whole Audrina situation happens in the season. So what is the Audrina situation, you may ask, right? Spencer is dating Heidi, but I think it's so early on in the relationship where like you can't really expect monogamy, unfortunately. But apparently he's like also trying to talk to Audrina, but then he's like gaslighting Heidi. Like from the very beginning, I'm like, I don't really know her. But then Spencer shows up with Audrina. And this is when we start to hate Audrina on the show. I feel like in the beginning, she wasn't that annoying. So like, let me like give her some credit in the beginning. She wasn't talking to, but like Spencer was trying to get with Audrina. At the same time, he was trying to get with Heidi. Clearly based on the rest of the series, that is not Audrina's type. And she says it from the beginning. She's like, he is not my type. Like, he's fun, but he is not my type. The way he like gaslights Heidi, like that should have been like a clear sign that like, is this really somebody you want to be with? Like, he plays games with them. Okay? Oops. But I want to know like your sentiment. I don't know if I could date somebody who is trying to get with me and my friend and lying to both of us. And when we talk to each other, we find out he's been lying to both of us. Once I find that out, I'm done. Like, I'm done. But Heidi goes back. She stays with, like, she's just not done. Okay? It's not like she goes back. She was just never done with the situation. This is when we start to also be introduced to the finest white man I've ever seen in my entire life. Brody motherfucking Jenner. Just the finest white man I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not gonna lie. Woo! He is stunning. He is gorgeous. He is very much like, wow. So that is Spencer Pratt's best friend. And from the beginning, Spencer and Heidi were trying to hook up Lauren with Brody. Oh my God, Lauren and Brody. That's when like Spencer and Lauren kind of got along. So then we enter the first breakup. First breakup to me shows that he did not care for her. He treated her like trash. I'm not gonna lie. This is also when like Lauren versus Spencer like begins. Like Lauren's like, oh, you're trash, dude. Like, you're trash. Like, you're treating my friend like trash. I don't like you. I don't feel like he like really like cares that much. I honestly, okay, when I look back at it, I think Heidi did some like brujeria, like some witchcraft on Spencer, because he did not care for her and he cheated on her so much, and like was just like, I don't care. Like, I'm hot and I'm young and I'm rich. Like, why do I need to be committed to you? And then all of a sudden, in like a flip of a switch, he's obsessed with her, only wants to be with her, wants nobody around, just them. And if you don't agree with their love, you are an issue. That was very interesting. Just like overnight, like a flip of a switch, he became obsessed. And he's not an ugly guy, and he has money, okay? Like, from the beginning, he's driving a very expensive BMW. Brody's driving a fucking G-Wagon. Like, they're in their early 20s. Like, you bitches have money. So, very interesting. But to me, my question would be, when do you expect monogamy when you're talking to somebody? Because in the beginning, like, he was talking to Audrina and Heidi. So it's like, would you talk to a guy that is also talking in the early stages as one of your really good friends? Like, I wouldn't in that instance. Yeah, no. Me, 3 months, even during those first 3 months, don't tell me that you're talking to other people. You can talk to other people. Just don't tell me. Like, don't tell me. Don't be like, oh yeah, I went on stage. Like, just don't tell me. Don't also be sloppy. Don't let me find out. Like, just don't tell me. Like, Just, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Heidi basically gives them another chance. Their disillusion of the friendship really begins because it's like, it's no longer like, oh, we don't agree on going to school and not going to school. This is now, we don't agree on who one of us is dating. It's almost like Lauren is like warning her, kind of how like Heidi had warned her about Jason. And I mean, it's the same thing. Like Heidi's very much like, okay, like I'll just figure it out myself. Starts to create this Bonnie and Clyde type of relationship with Spencer and Heidi, where he starts to be very obsessive with her and he just wants her, and he kind of just doesn't even want her to hang out with anybody that kind of doesn't want her to be with him. Lauren and Spencer not getting along is further emphasized by the argument that they get in at a club where like they're back together, and clearly Lauren has been talking about it to Brody. It got back to Spencer, and Spencer is pissed because it's like, if you're not team Heidi and Spencer, then you're the enemy. That's when he really starts to hate Lauren, and he's very much not scared of Lauren. And I think everyone's really scared of Lauren because she's the main girl of the show. That's when Spencer starts to hate Lauren. Like that's when, like, at first it was like Lauren didn't like Spencer because he just treated Heidi like shit. At this point, it's now Spencer's mission to hate Lauren and get Lauren out of Heidi's life. That's literally season 2. And like so much so that he starts to like do shady shit. And like the first shady thing that he does is the whole Jen Bunny thing. Jen Bunny is like one of Lauren's best friends from like middle school, elementary, high school, I don't know, like school, right? Go out to celebrate like Jen Bunny's birthday. She also knows Heidi. She knows like Lauren's friends. Spencer and Heidi then try to set up, like make them flirt, where it's Jen Bunny and Brody. That's who they were just trying to set up Lauren with. That's just like a no-no. It's not that I don't think, I know that I wouldn't get with one of my really good friends, like one of my best friends' flings, ex. Like, ugh, let me just not even entertain it. Went on a date or two, like we would have to have a conversation. How long ago was that? What are your thoughts on that? But y'all like talked for a while and like messed around. No, I'm not touching that, babes. I'm not touching that. But Spencer and Heidi are like pushing it and like enabling it. And like that whole setup was really weird. And it was very much like, it was kind of started by Spencer, but Heidi was very much involved. And like she tries to like wipe her hands from it later on in the series. But like, girl, you were involved. Lauren was pissed. And rightfully so. She was hella mad at Jen, which was fine. Cause like, okay, I get it. Like with Brody, it was like you just met him, so he doesn't really owe you anything. But she was not mad at him at all. At all. It was almost like she excused it as like a guy will be a guy. But like a girl, like, and especially my friend should know better. And like I do agree with that. Your friend should know better. But Lauren, you're being a very interesting friend. But by the end of it, Spencer wants Heidi to move in. And like, I understood her hesitation because it's not really like established how long they've been dating, but Lauren is like very much like they've barely been dating. Like people are like they've barely been dating. So I want to know how long they were dating. I want to know in your comments down below, when do you think is a good time to move in with somebody? For me, I would say minimum. Fuck. Okay. The earliest I could potentially see moving in with somebody would be like maybe at the 9-month mark, but even then I want to wait a year. Because I'm thinking, I'm like, what if we're like really just in love and like we're just living basically at each other's places all the time and one of our leases is up. So like, what's the earliest? 6 months would be too early, but like 9 months, almost a year, maybe like 10 months, I could potentially, I don't know. You tell me down in the comment section below. But he wants her to move in, and he's basically just trying to separate Lauren and Heidi, right? Like he realizes like, I need to cut them off. But also, Lauren gets very like possessive, and like we can tell that Heidi's kind of scared of like moving out. And like I get it, because like Lauren for some reason is like really mad. She's like, I thought we were gonna live together and we were gonna be roommates and da 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 da. You've been living together for like over a year now, and like friend wants to move in with her man. Isn't that the whole point of being in a relationship and like eventually like living with your man? Girl, why are you moving in with your boyfriend when you've only been together for X amount of like months and he treats you like shit? I don't want you moving out because then I'm gonna have to get a new roommate, and it's like a whole process. And like, what happens if y'all don't work out? So it was that whole conversation. Spencer wins. He gets an apartment. He gets a condo. I don't know if it's a condo or an apartment, but he gets a place, and he's like, this is where I want us to live. And like, not gonna like, if a man did that, so I've been dealing with broke men for a very long time, okay? And if a man is driving a very nice car and he's buying me very nice things and he's treating me very nicely and he's like, come on, babes, like, I want us to live together. Like, I don't want to be out and about. Like, we're always together. Like, I want us to live together. And he's like, hey, I want you to come look at this place. And he's like, hey, I got this place for us. And it's a really nice place. And I'm just like, God, that's fucking sexy, dude. Okay, the way I'm explaining it is really sexy. I understand that Spencer's trying to separate Heidi from Lauren and it's like very toxic, whatever. But for me, in my instance, if I'm talking to this guy and it's been maybe like 4 months. Okay, I'm thinking, okay, 4 months. If it's been 2 months, that's too soon, babe. I'm not moving in with you. You think I'm that dumb? No. Maybe like even 6 months. Okay, 4 months is like too soon. 4 months is too soon. Maybe like a 6-month mark. And he's obsessed and he's crazy. And I did some brujeria on him. And he's like, babe, I got this place for us. I don't know. Like, fuck, 9 months. 6 months is still too early. Like, I'm not breaking my lease. But if my lease was up and we've been only dating for 6 months and he knows my lease is up and he's like, I got this place for both of us. Fuck, dude, that show is toxic. It makes me like realize that like I too am trash. But basically, that's the end of season 2. I watched it on Netflix, and only the first 2 seasons of The Hills was on there. And that's when I mentioned I wanted to do a Hills, like, breakdown of it. And I was like, okay, like, I wonder how many episodes are, like, in season 3. And, like, 4 or 5. How many seasons are there? There must be only, like, 3 or 4 seasons, right? Maybe I could watch the rest. I was like, oh, fuck, there's 6 seasons. And I only watched the first 2. Like, I should be able to get through these pretty quickly, right? I go to season 3, 30 episodes, 40 episodes. It had so many episodes where I was like, how am I going to do a breakdown of a show? And there's literally still that much content. Am I going to do like a Hills series on my channel where like it's like a 3-4 part series, hour long each, where I do a breakdown of each season? Like, what am I about to do? So then I was like, okay, let me watch this next season. Here's my breakdown of season 3. Season 3, Lauren and Heidi end. The Lauren rumor. Okay, this is the only good part of season 3, and that is the very beginning, where Lauren and Heidi get into it because there is a rumor about Lauren that supposedly Jason had filmed themselves and like at home, like sex tapes type of thing, and it was getting around. We later know that rumor was started allegedly by Spencer, right? Audrina basically says that Spidey have been shit-talking Lauren as the same time this rumor is going around. So Lauren doesn't say it. Audrina alludes to it, but nobody says who started it. And then you see them get into a fight. When did they get into the fight? Heidi has a housewarming party because we saw end of season 2. She moved out. This is when she gets her new titties and she gets her new almost white blonde hair. She has a housewarming and I think only Jen Bunny shows up. So Audrina and Lauren don't show up. Nobody shows up, right? This is when she reconnects with Jen Bunny, which I'm like, wait, you threw her under the bus. Like when Lauren like basically cut her out of her life, you cut her out too. When you know you were the one who set her up with Brody, you and Spencer, but like whatever. She reconnects with Jen Bunny. She's like, I only want to like connect with like real friends. Heidi and Spencer are not hanging out with Lauren. They don't fuck with Lauren. Oh wait, Spencer and Lauren don't fuck with each other, right? Lauren just does not fuck with Spencer. And she is not fucking with Heidi because it's like, okay, if you're gonna let your man start rumors about me, I don't fuck with you either. And like, this is when like, it just starts to like make Heidi look so stupid where it's like, do you think people are going to be on your side? Like maybe I'm oblivious to it, but like, if your man is talking shit about me, I don't want to be your friend either. Why? Like, why? Especially if your man starts a fucked up rumor about me. So much so, like, she says on the show that, like, it gets back to her parents in Laguna and, like, her parents are asking her, is this true? If your man started that rumor about me, I'm done. With your man and you. But I want to hear down in the comment section down below. Can you be friends with somebody when you don't get along with their man? Or with their significant other, with their partner, their woman, their partner, life, whatever. I'm not asking about family. Because I understand family is very different. You can still be cool with your sister, with your cousin, and not be cool with their partner. But I'm talking about friends. That's when Heidi says our friendship shouldn't suffer when talking about how Lauren doesn't fuck with Spencer, which means she doesn't fuck with Heidi as well. Because it's like, yo, your man's starting fucked up rumors about me. Me and your man don't get along. Your man is trash. I don't like your man because he treated you like trash. And now we don't get along because it's like, girl, like that's your man. They get into the infamous argument of Heidi and Lauren are yelling at each other. What did I do? And Lauren's like, you know what you did. And Heidi's like, what did I do? And Lauren's like, you know what you did. And Heidi's like, what did I do? And Lauren's like, you know what you did. And Heidi's like, what did I do? And Lauren's like, you started a sick little rumor. She's like, I didn't start any rumor. She's like, you and your boyfriend, or like Spencer or something like that. She's like, you started a sick little rumor. And she's like, I didn't start a rumor. It's so funny. That was the best part of season 3. I didn't understand why there was like 30 something episodes, because the rest of the fucking season, oh my God, I wanted to kill myself. The only interesting parts, we're introduced to Justin Bobby, which is Audrina's man, who Lauren doesn't like him from the very beginning. Basically a Spencer 2.0, and he flirts with other girls in front of Audrina. Basically tells Audrina, why do we have to have labels? This is when like Audrina I just do not like her. Like, I just think she's so dumb. Like, she's such like a filler character, and she's so rich from the show. So like, last laugh is on her. Like, you know what I mean? She's like, ha 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 ha, all the way to the motherfucking bank. So I get that part. When looking up some of the characters, because I was like, at the end, I was like, should I like do like a synopsis of where are they now? Nobody else mattered. But when I looked up Audrina, she got a lip flip. There, like, she had like no lip, right? She had like this, and then now her lip is like this. Kind of iconic for her. I love that for her. That's like the only thing I love for her, because on the show she was a fucking dumbass. Spidey get engaged. This is when like their name in like, I remember like back in the day keeping up with it, and like on Perez Hilton and on other things they were called Spidey because it was Spencer and Heidi. Heidi's parents pushed back on it. Question in the comment section down below: if your parents didn't want you to marry somebody, would you not marry them? And basically, I hate the rest of the show. Like, I hate it. I hate it. I despise it. I was watching it and I'm like, it's the same shit over and over and over. Just like the controversies in the beauty space. The show was the same thing over and over. I'm mad at this person. I'm mad at this person. We're going here. I'm stressed because of work. I'm mad at this person. I'm mad at this person. I'm going here. I'm stressed at work. I'm mad at this person. I'm mad at this person. I'm going here. I'm stressed at work. I'm mad at this person. It was the exact same dance. I was like, I can't do this. I literally can't do this. She ends up getting closure with Jason. She thinks she's going to get back together with Jason. I don't know. It becomes a whole mess. The remainder of season 3 through season 4, although there were so many episodes, the only things that happen are Heidi becomes blonde as fuck. Spencer still hates Lauren, and he's going out of his way to just continuously talk shit about her. And then Audrina is a mess. That is literally all of season 3 and season 4. I hated my life watching that. Like, I hated it. I was like, why am I watching this? Like, it's so stupid. And I kept thinking like something interesting was gonna happen. I think the only thing that happens is fucking Spencer's sister. What is her name? I can't even remember her name. But the female Spencer comes in for Lauren's birthday. They're on a boat, and like they invite Heidi because Heidi and Spencer are still having issues. Spencer's sister is now friends with Lauren. It just becomes this mess. They end up having a conversation and they cry and they're like, oh my God, like, I miss you. And like, Lauren's still like, you know, I can't be your friend if you're gonna be with this man who's made my life fucking hell. And then season 5, this is when they usher out Lauren and they bring in Kristen. It's like, I think in the middle of season 5 is when they do this. Heidi is like, you know what? I want Lauren at my wedding. Like, she's been a very like big part of my life, and she really was. She was one of my best friends. How do I get you to my wedding? Lauren is like, I would need an apology from Spencer. Spencer apologizes. She goes to the wedding. She shows up. She leaves. Then Kristen Cavallari shows up. And that's when they usher in Kristen. Kristen Cavallari in Lauren's spot. It was really weird. Like, it was really weird because it's like Lauren leaves, and Lauren was very much like the part that held everything together. Like, she was Heidi's friend, so Heidi can have her own stories, but it's like it's still connected to Lauren, the main character. Audrina's Lauren's friend, but she can have her own stuff, but it's still connected to Lauren. Whitney can have her own stuff. Like, it's still all connected to Lauren, but they remove Lauren and now they put in Kristen Cavallari in her spot. But Kristen Cavallari isn't really friends with like a lot of these girls, even though she's supposedly friends with Heidi. She dated Brody. She knows Spencer because of Heidi. It just becomes like this really weird web of like, how do y'all know each other? It's just rich white people who just know each other and like they're bored, so they just be fighting about dumb shit. And then been loving this one. This one's by Elf. This is a clear brow gel. Nothing too crazy of a hold. I need to trim my brows actually. I saw on Twitter that like skinny brows are coming back. Please don't do that. Like, do not. Okay, if you're gonna do the skinny brow trend, I'm not gonna do it. I paid way too much money for these fucking brows. First of all. Second of all, I paid too much money for these brows. It's just not for me, babes. I like them thick and bushy, right? That's for me. But if you do want to try the thin brow trend, shave your brows. Do not pluck them. I'm sure Lauren was done with the show. Like this is the last you see of Lauren. Like, from what I've looked up on her thing, she still looks the same. She hasn't had that much work done. She still has that same kind of like straight across smile. She still looks like Lauren Conrad. So Kristen Cavallari was also from, I don't even know what sign she is. A Capricorn. Interesting. Okay. So she's a Capricorn. She was very much considered the bitch of Laguna Beach because she was very much rambunctious girl, and I think that's why she was brought onto the show, because Lauren wasn't gonna give that. Like, she wasn't gonna like fight nobody. Even from the very beginning, like, they're having like a party. I can't remember what it was, but they invite everybody. Lauren's clearly like she's gone. She's gone, right? But Audrina's there. Lo is still there. Like, I didn't get why Lo was still there, because she was only interesting because of Lauren. Kristen and like Audrina almost get into a fight. Like, Kristen was very much like, I don't give a fuck. Like, no fucks given, which I really appreciated. The show itself just started to make no sense. Fun, interesting fact. I know a lot of people have always asked me, like, if I'm related to Kristen Cavallari. Some of you are like, what? Who's asked you that? People have asked me that because if you Google Gabriel Zamora Cavallari, that's probably going to be the most interesting thing, okay? The rest of the fucking series makes no sense because how do y'all put Kristen Cavallari in the place of Lauren? Like, the show seems so fake, and then by the end of like season 6, they show you that it's basically staged in the final episode, and you're like, what? What was real? What was fake? That was very interesting in the way that they left it off. That's the end of the show. Fuck that show, right? So the only interesting thing is me and Kristen Cavallari. So I'll tell you why people think we're related. So if you Google Gabriel Zamora Cavallari, it says that I'm her brother. Even if you Google just Gabriel Zamora, it says that I'm still related to her, which I kind of like live. So back in middle school, I had this class called BCIS, which was like business computer, blah, 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 where we were at computers and we were learning how to use everything like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all that stuff, and how to type. So when we would have a substitute, we could get on the computer, but like certain websites were blocked because they were school computers. The way these classrooms were set up, like the computers were on the perimeter of the class where you're facing the wall and the computer. So a teacher could stand in the middle and see everybody's screen. Back then, like, the only thing that didn't look sketchy was Wikipedia, right? Like, so I would go on Wikipedia and I would just read shit. And at the time, like, so obsessed with the hills and things like that. On Wikipedia, you could edit the bios, and like if you didn't provide like a source, eventually like it would go back to the original like edit. Our teacher was out for like a week and a half, so we had the same teacher, and I was like, I'm gonna keep editing it and trying to make it stay on there, right? And at this time, the show was blowing up. Kristen Cavallari was blowing up, right? Everybody was like looking up her like bio. And I was like, okay, nobody's going to believe that I'm Lauren Conrad's brother. But I was like, let me just lie and add that, because on her thing, it said that like her parents split up and like she went to go live with one of her parents. So I lied and said, and Gabriel Zamora, her brother, went to go live with somebody else, right? With her other parent. And it's so dumb, and I just kept doing it. And eventually I forgot, right? And later on, I remember I told a friend, and she's like, oh my God, like Kristen Cavallari kind of mentioned you in a way, referenced your situation, like years later, right? And I was like, what do you mean? So she did this interview with this like magazine, I can't remember what magazine it was, where she did an interview and they're like, what's the craziest rumor you've ever heard about yourself? And she's like, it wasn't about like me personally, but it was basically that I had this brother that I've never had. She's like, I only have one brother, and they say his name and everything, and like he went to go live with somebody. They're like, she was like, it was really weird because I only have one brother. I was like, what? I know now that like I have a social following, but since getting a social following, the reason why I've never reached out and said like, hey girl, I'm the guy that they like lie and say that I'm your brother. And it's because her actual brother passed away. So I don't want to seem insensitive in that scenario of like, hey girl, I'm the guy that they say is also your brother. If I ever meet her in person, maybe I'll tell her, but I don't feel the need to like go out of my way and message her that, because it's just, why? Losing a sibling is not something that I've ever experienced, so I can't even begin to understand how long it would take for that situation to seem at all light enough for me to be like, hey, by the way, you know that little rumor about you having another brother? I'm that other brother. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's weird. It's weird. Want to know why it says that I'm Kristen Cavallari's brother on the internet? It's because I was an idiot when I was a kid. That's basically my entire breakdown of the series. I hated it. I hated that I watched it. I'm probably never going to watch that series ever again. Season 1 and season 2 were cute. Like, I hated it, dude. I hate this show. Like, I hate it. Oh, I hate it. Like, I try to, like, I didn't even want to keep up with anybody. Like, after the thing, okay, I only, like, try to keep up with Lauren. Heidi Montag is still with Spencer. So, the last laugh is with them and on us, because although he was trash to her the entire show, they're still together. They're still together. Happily married with children. They are together. The only cool thing that I forgot to mention was season 6 starts off with Heidi getting all those fucking surgeries. Iconic. That's why I get work done. Because that girl, I remember when I saw that, I was like, period. I want all that work done. I want all that work done. That is like, to me, the coolest thing in the entire, like looking back at it now with what I know in today's time and like surgeries, she didn't need all that. She did not need all that. Like, she could have gotten some things done, but she did not need all that. Her mom crying because she doesn't recognize her anymore, mood. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna do this for me. I get surgeries for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if my mom didn't recognize me anymore because I've had so much work done, okay. I hate that show. It is my childhood and it was very nostalgic. But like, looking at it now as like a grown ass man, the fuck is that show? Like, you know what I mean? Okay, if you watched it, like, girl, I don't know how you got through season 3. Like, I started to skip episodes. I was like, I'm not watching this. Like, I want to kill myself. And I shouldn't be joking about that, but like, I really hated it. Like, I hated it. Like, season 3, like, by the end of it, like, even midway through season 3, I was like, I hate the show. Like, wow, I hate this. So, yeah. That is my synopsis of The Hills. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and you hit that notification bell so you can be notified exactly when I upload a brand new video. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, I asked a lot of questions on the show. I'm very interested to know your stance on a lot of those scenarios, because I feel like that was the only interesting part about like the show, is like, what would I do in this instance? Other than that, I couldn't really relate that much. Until next time, bye everyone.